Hey guys, what is going on? Today I want to show you an execute on the B side of Inferno, which Mousesports have been running for quite a few tournaments now, and it is quite an effective one. So obviously I'm going to show you all the POVs to start off with. You can see it on screen right now, the smokes and the mollies that are going off, getting rid of a lot of the site where the CTs can defend from. But then I also want to go into the details such as timing, where the players are looking, and even towards the end I want to show you guys the weaknesses of this strat, because there are a couple. There's a good way to fight this as a CT player, which if you're a CT player against this, really want to know about, and you can actually probably implement some of the learning into other takes that might come in, especially if you are a B defender in Inferno. So let's start off with Oscar, the Mousesports AWPer, where he throws a smoke from the logs position. Obviously there's a lot of different CT smokes you can do, before moving into this flashbang, which is going to land on the roof above the T players entering, which is a great flash to get anyone obviously looking towards this entrance, trying to punish the Ts as soon as they go in. So it's just a very simple flash which won't blind your teammates in any way, but also get a lot of the sight. As you can see, HLTV kind of stops me early when I follow it, so this is actually the angle the flash is going to get, so it's going to get most of the sight, so it is quite an effective flash. Moving along to Snax, the newest member of Mousesports, he's going to be the only player throwing both the smoke and the molotov throughout this take. And I think you guys can work out the lineup yourself, obviously lining up the right side of this first window up banana before using the antenna or a bit of the wall maybe and the tree to throw his smoke. I think you guys, most of you should know a call smoke by now, one in this kind of area. And notice he's not throwing one that isn't all the way back banana because he does need to walk. Notice he's walking right now to throw his molotov for new box. And again, he's going to tuck himself in there, aim in that little groove. Again, I think you guys are quite smart and can work that out before going anti-flash. And he's actually going to be the one cleaning up here. He's going to get him the 2 kills, one onto Simple and the player new box. Very important kills for him to get and keep his team with the man advantage. I'll cover those things such as the anti-flash and the walking in a second when I look at the team overall. But for now, we're going to continue with the POVs. So Sunny's going to throw the Molotov for emo or back dark position, and it's all the utility he's going to throw. He's going to back himself into this corner with the half wall, aim at that little gap there between the barrels and the wooden log or the wall, and that's just going to be a jump throw in towards that emo position before he's going to be the entry, and Simple's actually going to do a really good job of cleaning up on this one. So not a lot of impact for Sunny, but that's his role as far as utility is concerned, just that one simple Molotov. And the final role of ChrisJ is even easier than Sunny's. Just going to be simply throwing a flash off this wall ahead of ChrisJ right now, basically forcing the CTs to either turn or tank the flash in the face. Again, the timing is important with this one, before trying to enter yourself and obviously get the opening kill. It doesn't go ChrisJ's way, but again, that's a very simple role for the final one. Now, the timings of this take, one of the most important things. If you just throw this utility straight away, you're not going to fully utilize what this take can do, really punching those CT players for trying to move out of the positions they're currently in. So this one, Mousesports actually have 2 different tempos they throw this. It's a very small variation. The first one being this more patient lineup. So notice right now, the smokes are landing. They've all seen their spots before these Molotov comes out. Like if you're a player like Simple or Edward, that smoke's already bloomed in CT. You've heard the one bouncing towards Coffin. You can easily throw your cannon utility right now. And this is obviously variation 1 of this, basically the exact same take. Is Mousesports a little bit slower after these smokes throw the Molotovs? I want to see, is there going to be a counter molly right now from the CT side? And if so, we can adjust in a certain way. We can wait it out, see if the rotation's going to come in. ChrisJ makes the call depending on what he thinks is going on. Nothing comes out in this scenario. So they continue with the next part of the take, which as we saw, was the Molotovs coming in. And they're going to come over and flash at any player in these different positions. Now, as these Molotov lands, and not a second sooner, this flash is going to be coming through the air to punish this player. Because if you're a CT player right now, what are you doing if you're either new box or in this dark position? You're not just sitting there, are you? You're not going to just burn away, think this is good, nice and toasty. You're going to start moving out of that cover, where again, you can see Simple is a prime example of this right now. His position is so strong because that's the best thing about this booster's position is you can play with this archway ahead of you and you're basically not going to cop any of the flashes coming in. Whereas if you fall off, such as this example here, we can see Edward is a great example. He was boosted. Somehow the molly actually gets him in this scenario. He's forced off the box. He's flashed. He moves out because obviously he doesn't want to burn to death. And he completely dies because he's blinded, whited so easily because he's in no cover land. No way to protect himself if he does get flashed, and that's a really easy kill for the T side. So waiting for those Molotovs to land and then flashing afterwards is a perfect way to catch these players rotating to a new position, depending on what they make the read of being. But they're always going to be trying to look towards the site. It's very hard to play anti-flash if you're moving across the site, worried about players coming in and attacking you straight away. The other thing to notice about this take with the timing of utility is the timing between the 2 flashes thrown. It's just staggered enough that any player trying to play anti-flash or trying to turn away from that first quite obvious flash coming off the wall from ChrisJ is going to turn straight back into Oscar's flash, and it's just going to completely book them. And Edward's going to be a great example of this one. As I speed this one up for a second, we're going to see just a slight stagnation in the timings thrown. So as soon as ChrisJ in a second, we're going to throw his flash. See, he throws his, And just a second later right now, Oscar hasn't quite thrown his. So Oscar's going to throw his now. Just a very, very slight stagnation. I just keep repeating myself, so I'll shut up. And you can see Edward's about to turn. He sees this flash coming in, very obvious from ChrisJ. Turn away, avoid that flash, come back, and get booked by Oscar's flash. And that's a very key element for any good player who's going to be playing anti-flash, turning away like Edward is. You can just alter the flash timing of this. It's going to perfectly kill that player, and it's going to have an easy kill. Because either he's in the open from his Molotov, he's turned away because he sees the flash coming in, or he turns back straight into the second one. So the CT player is basically losing anyway, and that's another reason this round went so perfectly. Now the next thing is, why these two Molotovs? Why New Box and Dark? Well, first off, you could say obviously they're the strongest angles or the strongest positions to play on this site, and you're right. That's because it allows you to control the fight. And what I mean by that, I don't actually know if that's a common term, is if you're a New Box player, you can hold an angle like this, kill the first guy coming in, and you can hide. And you now control when you want to play contact. Either you wait for that player to swing you, you hold an angle like this, you hang like this, you peek back out, try and get anyone maybe jump over the top, you maybe hang out, see if you can get a headshot, anyone crossing the barbecue. You control, if you want to, where the next engagement's happening. Same with Dark, obviously, you can peek out, get this first one, and then hide right now, think I'm going to hold this angle, hold different angles. Now, if these two spots are Molotoved out, where are these players moving to? Obviously, they could just be oranges like they were before, but these players are moving to second oranges, this pillar here, where I've killed a bunch of bots, try and win this fight, or if they're very, very desperate, to the water fountain. The thing about a T player entering onto the site, excuse me, I am not an entry fragger, so excuse my crosshair placement. You're coming out. This fountain you can clear straight away. Potentially they can hide behind pillar for a little bit, but you just need to swing a little bit further. That pillar's not wide enough for them to hide around for long. So what's left? First and second oranges. There's no way for them to control the fight at fountain or the pillar. It's just too thin for them to have any room to play around, such as New Box, the example I just gave. Now, so easy for this entry fragger coming into the site. He always does pre-fire, two oranges positions, and the B side is his. Obviously, this is still smoked off. Have your AWPer posted here in case someone tries to jump up or something. And it's quite a simple job. The only thing, obviously, they could do, I'll give you the fact that if the guys move to second oranges, he could try and jiggle this out, try and control this fight, try and jiggle this one. But he has way less wiggle room. And as the T side, you choose when this fight happens pretty much, and pretty much all regards. So it makes it so difficult. And that's why I believe those two Molotovs are used, as opposed to maybe Molotoving off the two oranges positions, because they're not as powerful at allowing the CTs to choose when they want to make these gunfights happen. Now you're probably thinking to yourself after all that, was this execute just basically invincible? Like, where can the CTs fight? Doesn't the T side have a huge advantage all the time? Well, JW and Flusher, they know the one spot they can fight against this particular execute, where they have a great chance of potentially winning this. Well, not a great chance, but they have a better chance than if they just sat on the site. And this is largely to do with what Draken does. The rotation is very important for throwing this flashbang. The one spot you can fight is actually just at the entrance to Banana. We're going to see Flusher do it right now. And you think about the way this comes in. This corner here is the point of contact between both teams, which is almost identical. Both teams are in the open if they want to contact this spot, obviously unless they're from Coffin, but that's smoked off in this scenario. So this is your most even fight you can take as a CT side, and this is why I think Fnatic succeed to a degree in this one. Obviously it's not a good fight, you're still peeking out into 2 or 3 players potentially, but if you get a good flash like this one, which you can see blinds 3 of the Mousesports players, Flusher can peek out and get 2 of them. Snax wasn't doing his anti-flash, which he normally does in these scenarios, but that flash is so important. And being able to fight at that choke point is something which is basically the only counter you have to stopping this very powerful execute coming in. The other obviously being picking off players early on or using your counter utility. Besides those 2 very obvious options, this is your only one. You see that flash from Draken is enough to enable Flusher to get this round on its way to a victory for Fnatic, and I would say that's your only point where it's like a 50-50 fight. After that, if you let those players cross to barbecue when this execute comes in from Mousesports, you're dead. There's basically no way you're winning this fight, and that's one of the most powerful things about this execute. But if you feel it coming in, or a team's using it over and over again, play the CT as you saw Fnatic do in this scenario. Play aggressive, hold your smoke, play in front of it such as JW did, and you find yourself with a slightly better chance to win these rounds. Obviously, the counter to this is if Mousesports decide to do some kind of dry walk into the site, you're now very exposed, and you're going to end up looking a bit silly. So again, it's a bit of a mental game as to what you want to do in different scenarios. Now, I've been very dramatic up until this point, saying you have to face like Flusher did in a 1v3, getting nice flashes in from your teammate, fight at Banana. Do you know what an easier solution is to the CT player? Just be disciplined with your utility. Hold your Molotovs to the end of the round. Be ready to throw it when you know this Mousesports execute's coming in to give yourself a chance to survive. And that's when it comes to talking about how Mousesports set themselves up to try and get this execute going. Now, this scenario, Ents are very good at holding their utility. You can see Sunny is throwing a nade towards CT. He's He's also going to try and smoke different areas of the map to try and just draw out these Molotovs early on from the opposing side. So he's backing up for a CT smoke. ChrisJ is going to try and throw a flash over. You can see 7, he's not interested. He says, I'm going to fight you. I don't think you come into the site right now. And a lot of teams will actually throw the utility right now. You see, if we have a look at these different rounds I've seen right now, Sunny throws a smoke over straight away. Smoke comes out from the opposing side almost instantaneously. So this is something that Mousesports and CT side have to try and jiggle between, is trying to bait out this utility, obviously still saving utility for the take if you're Mousesports. The CT side has to try and read this, say, hey, you're just trying to bait us into throwing our utility. I'm going to hold my utility, and now you're at a disadvantage. We can see that's exactly what happens here when Ents are playing Mousesports. They don't successfully bat out this utility. Both these players left at B have a Molotov, so as soon as this smoke fades, Molotov number 1 coming in from 7, so Mousesports have to wait. Very low on the clock right now, 25. Then the second Molotov's about to come in a second, and this is the absolute easiest way just to counter this right now. Flash in, Molotov in, ChrisJ's gone, 7 can retreat right now, back to new box, 13 seconds on the clock. Time is ticking. Now, it's a little infuriating to me that the fact that Mousesports still win this one, because they still managed to get the entries, but you can see all the Molotovs are faded. The can utility make this execute far less effective than it potentially could have been. They still do win it. It's a more of a brawl. We can see both those Ents players could have easily won their fights. The Molotov's no longer off. The flashes have already been thrown by Mousesports. And ultimately, that's the weakest thing about this take, is the fact that as you're coming into the site, if there's Molotov left, you haven't done a good job of baiting out utility, CT side can completely lock you out. You've thrown all your utility. You're now coming into a bomb site with smokes fading, and you're in big trouble. That's the biggest thing a CT player can do right now if they want to try and win this one. This is getting interesting right now. I've never actually watched this clutch, so let's watch it out. As I say, thank you guys for watching. Oscar wins it. If you have any feedback, I went really deep on this one. I imagine some of you might find it a little bit boring. Hopefully not, but as I said, give me feedback. I love it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you do like this kind of content. And of course, I'll catch you all in the next video.